Aloha, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on the Healing with Aloha podcast. I'm the host, Deslin Hakias, and today we have a special guest all the way from France. This is Arnaud Saint-Paul. He's a conscious technologist, founder of the global social impact project, Give Nation, the creator of the Heartfelt method, and the author of the book, I Is Born. And so with further ado, guys, here is my special guest, Arnaud. Hello, Arnaud.
Oh, hello. Thank you so much for having me, Deslin.
Oh, you're welcome. There's so many questions that I have for you, but can you share with people what led you? I've never heard of a conscious technologist. What led you to down this path?
Okay, right now, I'd rather, actually, I need to update my profile. It's probably more a conscious guide in general, but it is true that my professional life has led me into technology and finance, hence conscious technologies, because I'm also, I've been starting my own personal journey when I was 13 years old. And then, so consciousness has to be there. And then it was technologies, but now I'm more into the guidance aspect. So conscious guide would be my game. When I was 13, I started to really wake up, spiritually speaking, and became obsessed with the question, who am I? And that has led me to this current moment where, for me, my life purpose is clear. It's about helping 1 billion people to open their heart to themselves and really have the courage to dare to love themselves, and at the same time to be loved. And this is not, it is offered to everyone. It is not necessarily chosen by everyone.
Yes.
And it doesn't seem possible at some point, but then it is. And that's when it becomes magical for everyone.
I think that's incredible that you would go into, I tend to talk about this, but it's one thing to like yourself, and it's another thing to like and love yourself. Because a lot of times maybe if you came up from trauma, or you've been through growing up not having caregivers or people really embrace and love you, that you begin to doubt your self-worth. And I think it's beautiful, like what you're saying, that it's possible, but not everybody chooses that path.
Yes, and it's not necessarily connected to abuse. You can have an amazing family that does the best it can, right, to take care of you and so on, and still not love yourself. And also that idea of self, I can change across time. We tend to first identify to this physical body and all that goes with it, right? And the thoughts and the emotions. And at some point when we grow up, so to speak, or we blossom, or we are reborn to ourselves, then that definition changes and we start encompassing more, meaning not just this physical body, these emotions, these thoughts, but also the others and the environment and everything, life in general. So it's really a journey into more compassion, empathy, altruism, but also a pure and unconditional love. That's where we're heading, if we choose to, again. But obviously, when we have life showing to us all the different challenges, so to speak, that we tend to live through, it's just there to show us that if we find the right angle, if we make the right choices, it is possible to be loved. And if we trust our universe, our world will respond for sure. But again, it starts with us. In any case, it cannot start elsewhere. So,
I agree. I think, do you find that people have a tendency to love other people, to love things, and not give that generosity, that compassion, that energy to themselves, like within?
Yes. It's easier. It's easier because I look at it, and therefore I'm hypnotized by it. And because I don't believe in myself anyway, I don't believe even that I exist, therefore I pour my love to them. And yes, it works for a little time. But at some point, you fall
burn
into
out or you become empty.
Yes. Or you get ill and, all different things we can think about.
In the process of people learning to love themselves, have you found that it's important for people to have boundaries in relationships? If you're always on the giving end, then you won't be able to fill your heart and, you get sick because like you said, like people are always giving and their energy, their attention, their money, whatnot, but then they don't step back because health and time to me is more precious than anything. Money can come and go, but your health, once you lose your health, your decline and your time, you can't rewind it.
Well, I always have a difficulty with boundary, not as a concept, but more the word itself. But however, I agree in the sense that you ask yourself the question, why do I give? For instance, just to take that example, I may be giving because I'm overflowing with love or time or money or whatever. That's one option, right? And in that case, it's like an apple tree. It is giving apples and it doesn't care. What he wants to be is an apple tree and he's doing that. So all good there. Or is it because you want to be loved? Or is it because you believe that you are not worth anything and therefore it's better to give everything? Or is it because ... And so it's really important to feel, who am I in that action? And if that, when you are actually giving from your heart without expecting anything, and because you feel called for it, there's no boundaries to be had, because you're already valuing yourself. You're already in your center. You are now in this moment, you're gifting whatever you're gifting, and it's just an extension of you. So there's no boundaries at all. The boundary thing happens when you're not in your true center. When, in other words, when you're in your ego and trying to make do whatever you're trying to make do at that time. So that's why I'm having these little issues with boundaries.
Because I noticed that in life, there's some people who give and then there's some people who take. And sometimes people who are blessed and always wanting to give, there's people who always continuously take. And so you being aware of, okay, I can do this event or I can do this exchange. However, right now, I can see my energy is low, my health is declining, and I need to pull back so I can restore myself. That's the kind of things that I was thinking that people have to know the boundaries, like to what capacity do you give, and then what capacity do you, because sometimes they don't know, they just keep going, and then you end up with people who burn out.
So you touch a very important point. Each eye, your eye, my eye, each have their own individual world, completely separated from all the others. I know it sounds bizarre, but that's how it works. I can get into the details of that if we have time. And the thing is, I, the giver, and let's say that you are I, the receiver, just for the sake of that conversation. And if I give from the essence of my being, it's not even a gift. It's just my love expressing myself, and I can't help it, but I have to do it now, right? And it happens that you're in front of me and boom, receive it, because you are ready to receive as well, right? So in that space, it is simple. It is a pure expression of love, whichever that shape of love we're talking about then, and it just happens. And it has an end, right? Happened, then it's over. And you stop receiving from me in any case, in that case. I may be giving again in another moment, but it's independent from the first moment. It's just that it is my nature, and therefore I do. Again, like the apple tree.
Yeah.
You as a receiver, it happens that you have, in that ideal scenario, that you have that belief that it is okay to receive because you love yourself. And therefore you're ready for life in general, through me in this case, to receive. And so you do, and it's beautiful. So you see, there is no imbalance there, or there is a balance of giving, receiving, that is a perfect match, and both are energized thanks to it.
Yes.
This is the ideal scenario, which is the one that happens less often, let's put it that way, and is a bit contrary to what you were describing earlier.
Yes.
Now, obviously, from that down to, all that can be, there are many, many shades of many, many colors, right? And the other side of the spectrum, to illustrate, is, let's say, you and I again, and I give because I want you to love me.
Oh,
and then, please pay attention to me, and I'm going to give you this and this and that because this is the way I've learned, maybe, or this is the way I believe it works, right? And I want to give you my bottle and my wallet and everything because I need your attention. And it happens that you're ready to receive from the universe, but you also have maybe a belief of hoarding, or of something that is a bit slightly distorted. Because for you to be able to receive from that love that I just expressed, there is a need of a matching vibration, which is as distorted as the one that was giving. Now we're playing our drama together, and we're playing some karma at some point also, maybe. And boom, from that moment of exchange starts new moments, which are continuing that pattern we each have in our world of giving, receiving, and maybe it gets worse, and so that it gets to a momentum at some point so that it can be shifted if each individual wants to, because maybe does that make sense?
Yeah, I think I can see where, like, the first point you're saying, like, it's a give and take, and it's a clean, right? Like, thank you, gratitude. But then the second one is like, you are giving, but it's unrealistic almost, because it becomes an unhealthy relationship, because you feel, I need this person to feel love for me. Yes. When you are valuable, you're worthy, and you're loved, and your worth doesn't come from someone's outside loving you.
Yes, exactly.
But so it's so profound, though, because I see what you're saying, and I can relate a lot to the second one. You know what I mean? And so I'm a divorced single mom, and so I noticed that there's a pattern of how I engage in relationships, and not being aware. It has to come with us stepping back and being aware that we're not the second way. We're throwing things and hope that this person will love, accept us, when it comes from within, like you loving and accepting yourself and being okay.
Yes. Because you know what? You're so amazing. There's no reason why not. Absolutely none whatsoever, but the ones that you're creating for yourself.
Yes.
That's the irony of it. So what if we just, simply accept ourselves, embrace ourselves, have compassion for ourselves, say, it's okay. So far I haven't been really, really, really nice with myself. Okay. And let's take myself by the hand and say, let's try to be nicer with ourselves, and more importantly, accept that, I have a very little nice pinky finger, and it's beautiful, and I accept it as it is, and then maybe I can expand beyond that. And then what happens is that the relationships you see coming to you starts to become more healthy and more balanced, because you are within yourself more balanced as well.
I agree. I guess the balance part is what you talk about is harmony. That when you can be in harmony with who you are, then you're going to be able to attract healthy relationships, healthy opportunities, because you understand that you're worthy of it. When you feel I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, you tend to push away people or opportunities because you fear that I'm not able to, and so it's important to have harmony within yourself, to open yourself up to
Yes,
positive energy and love.
And you used a word that I think is important to go over. So a lot of people are talking about attracting, and this is not the right word in my understanding of things. We are aligning with, which needs a lot of less effort. It's less effort based. It's easy to align with. So in other words, when I am deciding consciously and I'm taking my hand and I'm going, I'm loving a little bit further myself, a tiny bit, every moment or every day or every hour, and in any way, shape, or form, and I nurture myself, etc. Each time I do that, just one single step, boom, I change my alignment. My energy structure changes, and therefore I am matched with another set of circumstances or potentials that bring me a new encounter, or a different type of encounter. It could be the same person with a different vibration, right? Mm-hmm. But the bottom line is, each time you shift something, boom, automatically it changes your whole landscape. Not necessarily visually, but definitely energetically. And also, why not visually? So, in other words, there's a formula that I created and that I share sometimes, which is a very simple formula that explains absolutely everything in your life. And if you follow that formula, you're good to go.
Well, can you share it? I'm interested.
Of course. You're good to go towards more love and more unconditional love, of course. So the formula is super easy. It's R equal F parenthesis I. So if you remember a little bit your maths from a little while ago, F is function of, right? F parenthesis. So it's function of I, and the R is reality. So reality is a function of I. Okay. So that means that anything that I am able to choose for my I, whatever I am ready to see for my eye and through my eye as well, by the way, then all of a sudden it becomes a reality, and I am able to start experiencing it as well. So in other words, how can you become the apple tree? To get back to what we were saying earlier.
Yeah, no, you become the apple tree. First, you got to become a seed, and you got to be willing to be planted and have the patience as you grow. And after you grow, you're able to give the fruits that bear. And so it's with you. Like when you love yourself and you accept yourself, then you're going to be able to accept others, regardless if they understand you, agree with you. You can be at peace knowing that you're not here to win people over. You're just here to be the best version of you and to touch lives.
Indeed. Yes.
I think it's so incredible and it's so amazing. But like you said, ultimately it's people's willingness to want to truly like and love themselves. And it's not easily accepted.
The thing is, we tend to see things in absolutes. How come that I'm going to love myself when I know I'm hating myself right now? Not possible. because again, we're placing, where we're looking at loving in general or loving myself, it seems like unreachable. It's like paradise, right?
Mhm.
And you live in Hawaii, you know what I'm talking about. But the thing is, let's take a very simple first step and then another one, and making simple choices, very simple ones, whether it's expansion or fear. That's super simple. Everybody can do that. So let's choose again and again and again more expansion. That should be easy. And then see what happens.
Yeah. What if I did this? What great things could come into my life? What great relationships that could come in our life? Honestly, I was just thinking about this when you were talking, that for a lot of people, if they took the time to invest and really look, how am I feeling? Where am I at? I think a lot of people would have to change the direction they're going, because sometimes people can be going a certain direction to please other people, society, parents, spouse, just to fit in, but it's not heart driven, or it's not centered to who their essence is. Mm-hmm. And it's scary because it's like, it's better to go autopilot than to go deep within yourself. But I think it's important because life is so short, and you want to be able to be aligned with the people that are meant for you to cross paths with.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. You're saying everything, and you don't need me.
I love this conversation. I think, being able to have these discussions, I hope our listeners can really step back and understand that it is so much more than, like you said earlier, about like the materialistic things, the outward things, but genuinely embracing and loving yourself. I had a question.
And sorry, just before you start with the other question, and understanding that they are much, 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 much more than what they think they are. Let's start with that.
I agree. Sometimes you have to listen to people who love you for you to acknowledge how special you are, because you're so busy going that others need to help you to see what you don't see. And it's a lot of times it's the good things. People brush off compliments. It's nothing. And it's like, no, it's a gift. They're giving you a gift of love, and you receive it and you embrace it. I wanted to know about your project, Give Nation. Can you share briefly about that?
Give Nation is a project, is a long-term project where I'd love to see in the world a space, an ecosystem for children to become philanthropists. In other words, to be able to practice empathy, compassion, altruism from a young age of 5, and so that, and learn sustainable financial literacy. But the objective is that when we are in that period from 3 to 7, we're really creating lifelong patterns. So if I can provide an opportunity for children to really practice this empathy, compassion, altruism, it's a great pavement, I guess, or foundation on which they can build their life. So that's the journey we are on, and we've developed curriculums for schools, and we're looking to grow them in schools as much as we can. And we're using blockchain as well to, make it more interesting to some people. And yeah, so that's the journey on which we are there as well.
I think that's going to be healing, because as they learn these things, they teach it to their families and their parents.
That's the whole idea, indeed.
And the children, they have more openness to change. And so, is that why you chose to work with children?
Yes, you got me.
I mean, I think that's brilliant because, like you said, it's they're having them to instill it into them at such a young age. It becomes natural. it becomes a part of them.
Yes, exactly.
Is that something just in your country, or is that something
No, worldwide. Worldwide.
Oh,
If there is anybody in your audience that have a school and wants to have it, and they go to our website, givenation.world, and happy to work with them on that.
okay, because I know a lot of teachers here in the Hawaiian Islands, and so
We would love that. Yeah, me too, for sure.
Can you explain to me, why do you think it's important to teach empathy? Because I don't think that's something people understand. It's so valuable.
I guess, my personal life purpose is to help 1 billion people to open their heart to themselves. And the very first steps for that is really to start listening, right? And therefore, empathy, compassion, altruism. So empathy is listening, compassion is opening your heart, and altruism is action. So with these three, we already have 3 amazing pillars on which I can really act, or better said, experience my life more through my heart than the mind and all the issues that it entails. So that's why I chose that, because I believe in a world that, driven through the heart, we can really live a paradise. We are living a paradise only if we open our heart to ourselves, to everything.
I love that. I think you're right. Like, empathy is listening, listening with an openness to try to understand where that person's coming from. I mean, you can't fully understand, but the heart too.
So actually it goes, you're right. It's deeper than that. It's listening to the other, yes, but it's listening with your heart. So it is first also learning how to listen to your own heart, because he's talking to you. You never listen. That's also the thing. Your heart loves you all the time. You're not listening. So it's all coherent, right? I deepen my listening to my heart, and then all of a sudden I'm able to listen to the others. And instantly it just happens. And therefore I'm more in tune with you, and I'm able to be compassionate and help, etc., etc.
Yeah, I think it's awesome though. It's like real simple.
Yes.
Right. Empathy, compassion, and then you said
altruism.
Yeah, altruism. Yes, taking action. And I think to even listen to someone and hold space for them, I think that is something that is so needed in the world. I tell people, we're all gifted. Like, you don't realize the ability to listen is a gift.
Yes.
Because sometimes people don't feel anyone cares. Mm-hmm. And I realize that people don't underestimate that gift, is listening and caring for someone who doesn't feel that at their mm-hmm. current state of, mm-hmm. I and whatnot. So I really appreciate the conversation that we have. And thank you so much for being able to touch lives and to help people to connect with their hearts and to really love themselves. Is there something that you're working on before the end of the year that you want to share with our listeners?
I mean, we're launching retreats on the Nile in Egypt, which is absolutely outstanding. So we're also launching retreats about balancing the feminine and the masculine, which is going to be very interesting. We're building a university in Zurich, but that's for next year. And in Switzerland. So a lot of different things. I guess if people wants to know more, whether they want to start listening a bit about my content and all that, they can go to tapuat.com/harmony. So tapuat tapuat.com/harmony. And if they want to know about the retreat, it's tapuat.com/Egypt. And so they can learn about that. That's going to be really cool.
I think it's beyond cool. I think it's going to be incredible. I mean, the idea is it sounds so calming.
No, and we've done it a few times already, and it's always absolutely amazing.
I'm happy and I'm grateful, what you're doing and the upcoming projects. And I wanted to say thank you again for joining us here on the Healing with Aloha podcast. Please, guys, get to know Arnaud Saint-Paul. Follow him. If you are someone who's an educator and want to connect with what he's doing, please reach out. I'm going to have all the information for you guys. Thank you. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the Healing with Aloha project. Okay. Aloha.
Aloha.